I'm getting really tired of all the ignorance and hatred on YouTube. And I just wanted to say, I don't give a shit what you think anymore. Hi, my name is Famandradine Kim, and I've been doing videos about transgender and non-binary topics for a little over a year, plus the occasional video about social justice, political correctness, feminism or sexuality. It all started when I was looking up videos about being genderqueer or trans as part of my own discovery of and acceptance towards my own gender issues. Then I started to notice anti-feminism and MRAs, starting with Karen Strawn and then progressing down the rabbit hole. And when I started making my own content to combat this anti-feminist backlash, I became aware of other YouTubers who were supporting feminism and the rights of marginalised groups. But I also became aware of other people, anti-SJWs, TERFs and even transgender people who are intolerant of non-binary identified people. I have done a lot of soul searching along the way, and although I admit that political correctness and social justice can go a bit too far sometimes, not to mention batshit crazy on occasion, nevertheless my sympathies remain on the side of lifting up the people that society shits on, whether because of their colour and culture, because that's all race is when it comes down to it, disability, sexuality, because they are female, or because of their transgender identity, including non-binary. But the culture of shouting down your opponents, derailing, insulting, harassing, mob mentality and bullying on YouTube is downright depressing at times. I feel like it's almost futile to have a constructive conversation on here. It is almost impossible to make a video discussing anything to do with gender or feminism without attracting a huge amount of negativity, ignorance and hatred. The same is probably true with regards to race, disability or sexuality, and I do start to feel that there are probably better platforms for trying to have constructive conversations about those things. There's probably little else I can add to the discussions about gender and gender identity that hasn't already been done to death elsewhere anyway. Because of my own struggles to accept and understand my own gender identity, it's also probably not worth the toll on my mental health to continue to argue with the willfully ignorant and hateful, whether they be anti-trans feminists, anti-non-binary trans, or just anti-SJW ignoramuses. I've tied myself up in knots, confused myself and distressed myself by obsessing over labels and trying to put my points forward in as delicate and nice a way as possible, and because this has led me to feel I'm losing myself at times, I do often feel that it's important to distance myself from political correctness and remind myself that I've always been a bit heavy metal, a bit South Park, a bit punk rock about this stuff. So I want to state to all the haters and doubters that I really don't give a flying shit what you think. I like to look feminine. Wearing nail varnish, pretty necklaces, dresses, pink panties, women's trainers or boots makes me feel happy. My body hair makes me miserable, so I have to remove it. The hair on my chin makes me miserable and I often have to wear foundation to cover the stubble even after I've just shaved. When I wear a dress, I catch myself grabbing my breasts, trying to pretend that I have small female breasts. I fantasize about having a pussy sometimes. I wish I had been born female and I wish I could see an attractive woman when I look in the mirror. I love women, and have always looked up to women and admired them. My friendships with women have always been super important to me, and I often feel like I'm on a wavelength with women when I talk to them. I love strong, powerful women the most, and I look on with awe. I have very broad tastes for the types of women I will find attractive. I like to take the traditionally female role in sexual and romantic encounters with women, something that has frustrated me all my life. This is who I am. And I really don't give a fuck what you think about it. I know that what we expect and assume of men and women is 50% socially constructed bullshit, and even what might have been biologically selected for need not necessarily apply in modern society. I know that deep down there is a huge crossover between the nature of men and women, and we will always be more similar than different, despite the continued attempts of social norms to perpetuate gender stereotypes. I will always fly the flag of gender equality, and the right of people to define themselves and live their lives however they wish, never mind the bullshit social norms and stereotypes that society tries to push on people. I know that inside my own mind I am far too complex, my imagination far too open and liberated to ever be forced into a tiny little box or rigidly defined. My mind is free and social gender norms are bullshit, so part of my soul will always be non-binary. And fuck you for saying that's not valid or real. Your gender bullshit ain't valid or real. Again, I don't really give a shit about your narrow-minded, bigoted opinions. I like sucking cock. but I am more attracted to women and feminine or androgynous looking people. Again, I don't give a shit what you think about that. I like to be sexually submissive. I get more turned on by the thought of being penetrated than the other way around, and again, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about that. It's me. It's how my libido functions. People have a right to be themselves and not get a lot of shit from people just for being themselves. It sucks that I can't walk to the shops wearing a dress because of the fear of ridicule or abuse. It sucks that being openly trans will probably mean I'll find it harder to get or hold down a job. And I know that other demographics face similar problems. People of different races are discriminated against. Same-sex couples often can't be open with their affections in public without attracting negative attention. Women often are held back, patronised, objectified and abused by the little scraps of leftover sexism that still persist in our society. These things weren't invented on Tumblr. They are very real social issues that have been affecting real people in their real lives for centuries and that we have been working hard to overcome for the last few decades, roughly since the 1960s. And there is still work to do. The ignorance, the insults, the tirade of hateful garbage that people are subjected to just for speaking up about these issues is evidence enough that there is still a lot of work to do. But maybe there are better platforms than YouTube for dealing with this stuff. Whatever. I don't give a shit about your bigoted nonsense. I am who I am. I believe in celebrating diversity, protecting people from hatred and abuse, and working towards a brighter future of freedom and equality. TERFs, anti-SJWs, transphobes and true scum, fuck off. I don't even see the point in debating with you anymore. For my subscribers who have supported me, and even those who think differently to me but are interested in having constructive debate, thank you. Don't worry, this video is not aimed at you. I might lay off the topic of gender for a while, but I still am who I am, and it's possible I will return to the topic from time to time to cover my transition, if and when it occurs, or just if I have something really interesting to say about it. I am likely to do more stuff about sexuality, kink, polyamory, etc. in the future though, so stay tuned. I also have another appointment at the gender clinic on October the 3rd, so I might make a video about that. Anyway, rant over. Thanks for watching.